Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Word on the Street. It's great to have you. I'm really excited to talk to someone who's newer into our business. I think it's great to sort of uncover how you're finding everything. Before we walked on, I said, "When did you start?" And you said, Feb. And I thought it was Feb 2024. And you're like, "No, it's Feb 2025." And I went, "Has it been that short? Like 6 months isn't a lot of time." But it feels like you've been here 6 years, not 6 months.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. So I think what's really important is what to, I guess, uncover together today is just how you're finding that first 6 months. It's probably, as anyone knows that's been in the industry, the first 6 months is always probably the most daunting. You're trying to find your feet and figuring out what you like, what you don't like, and the stuff you don't like, can you keep consistent with it and all the fun stuff, right? So let's just talk. There's questions here which we'll uncover together, and as we always say, there's no perfect answer, but you joined us in February. You're running, we slotted you into a role with Amy. And how have you found that so far?
I feel really fortunate actually to be in a team with Amy.
You sure?
Yeah. Obviously being one of the more dominant agents in Cheltenham, Mentone, really lucky to be in such a high volume team like that. And selling some of the nicer looking houses as well in the area. Yeah,
brilliant. And when you say fortunate and the volume, what are you learning, do you think, in your first 6 months? What have you been exposed to?
The big thing that you guys changed my whole kind of aspect on what real estate is at the opens, hanging out at opens and what people are doing there generally.
It's a great listing tool, isn't it, mate? I think I hung out with you at a couple of opens on Saturday. I'm still recovering, but it was nice. I haven't been at opens a lot lately, but for me and you to hang out and see people gravitate to you, so it's a really good testament to your brand.
Thank you.
And what are you learning from that process? It's something as simple as an open, but people probably forget how important it is.
It's just about, when you're face to face, asking the right questions and make sure that you're getting at that detail out of them of how we can best help them and where their position is at the moment. Is there something that they need to sell as well in order to buy, and how we kind of can help them through that process of how they can align their settlements up and all these other options of to get to the next step, because it is quite daunting buying and selling and buying in the same market.
Are you finding that you're consultative in nature? Like, how are you developing your own brand? Are you figuring that out?
Yeah, I think so. I think naturally, coming from a hospitality background, I like to service people. And it's that kind of genuine care to help people through the process that is instinctive in me, I suppose. So it's more learning the professional aspect as we go along with Amy of how to take it to the next level now.
And Amy's not here. She's busy on her honeymoon, which is cool. And she deserves a good break. But how have you found that dynamic working with a senior person? Is it working? Are you? For me, it's 6 months in. You've come a long way. If we looked at Bailey at day one versus Bailey, cool. It's like a different human, right? But what are you? If I had to say to you, what are some of the biggest takeaways for yourself? And I know it's not an easy one because it's not in the questions yet. But what do you feel like have been some of your biggest learnings? Yeah,
definitely the growth around managing people. And expectations in the market. Everyone obviously has their expectation on price and things, and it's kind of having to help them align with what the market feedback is over the 4-week campaign. Along with also just the preparation stuff. There's so much that you don't realise before you start that's behind the scenes of, it's not just, sign up a listing and get it online. There's all this trade work that we do and stuff like that. So that was quite interesting. And obviously, what kind of made me want to get into it all was, buying something, but seeing the whole different side of it on the back end is, so fascinating to me.
Can we talk about your own prospecting and building your client base and how you're finding that?
So for me, obviously getting to hang out at so many opens weekly basis, there's a lot of stuff in there as well. We do obviously have the call sheets that we set up just targeting a farming area that we look after. So getting to kind of build relationships in there and, when you have that first initial call and it's really cold and they don't understand why you're wanting to call them, but it's repeat calls with sales that are either ours or a competitor. It's being able to just give them updates on where the market's heading, what things are looking like, what their kind of future plans are.
And credit to you, you've been learning that skill and and fostering a geographical area. Do you feel like you're learning that craft pretty well?
Yeah, I think so. It's just about keep doing it day in and day out.
Yep.
I think is the big thing, and just repetitiveness of doing it, and you'll reap the rewards with time, I suppose.
Yeah, brilliant. And you are. So, and it's exciting, right? 6 months in. Let's see what 2026 brings. But how are you finding, is the environment set up in a way that you're hanging out with like-minded people?
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
My cousin's from a commercial background, and like when I call him pretty much weekly about my growth and getting to
I get
learn.
Scott updates.
Getting
it's
to
good.
learn off of you guys. It's so it's unheard of that you can go to people that are writing and doing so many listings and bounce ideas off, and it just it makes your growth so much faster on both ends of the stick.
Yeah, and we love that for you. All right, let's get into the questions, because otherwise we'll just sit here and talk all day, right? So, this is a pretty cool one, because I want to know what, I guess, inspired you to want to get into real estate, and why you chose to reach out to us and wanting to join Jellis Craig.
Yeah, well, for me, I was originally from Sunbury and then moved over to Doncaster, and I did my Year 9 work experience at VicProp, which was just below the apartment building that I was living in. So I always had a fascination in real estate, but at the time, obviously, it was more of an admin experience role, so I didn't get to really do that much with other agents. But last year, I was fortunate in June, we bought our first property, myself and my girlfriend, which was pretty exciting, and it's a bit of a milestone at the age of 21 to be able to do that.
Absolutely. You should be really proud of that, mate. And that's one of the things that stood out for me is I met a young guy. I always say you can't want it more than what they wanted for themselves.
Yeah, I agree.
And when I first met with you, you spoke about, and it's worth talking about today, just how many things you were involved in. I almost felt like saying, mate, slow down. You're working a 90-hour week. Can you burn out at 21? But talk us through that. Like, what were you when we first met? Do you remember our first interview?
Yeah, I do vividly.
Yeah. Talk me through it.
It was at the time. I had a cleaning business that I'd set up for myself, and that was it was a $4,000 investment with an idea of being able to generate an income so that we were able to buy the house, which we were successful to do. And
what was the business called?
It was called Purge Cleaning Services.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I had a little cleaning business where I was
you're doing window cleaning,
windows, builders cleaning, site cleans, just anything I could earn a bit of
super
extra
entrepreneurial.
Cash. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, really cool. And then you're also working in hospitality.
Yeah, I was working with George Kalambaris in Hyatt. So I was doing that in the evenings, doing my cleaning business during the day, and that was all to facilitate being able to buy something. And that's what made me fall in love with real estate.
Well, that's what made me fall in love with you, mate, because I was like, this guy's going a million miles an hour. How can I not help him? So, and what we saw, was someone that had developed a really strong work ethic. Work ethic, I think, is probably the one criteria that's the number one required criteria coming into the industry, right? Is the ability to really commit to something and own it regardless of the waves that are going to hit you. And testament to you, in the first 6 months, you've been hit with a few waves, right?
Yeah.
And you push through them. Yeah. How have you found that process for yourself in terms of the ups and downs and learning and the hard conversations and your own development? How have you found that?
Yeah, good. I obviously know quite a few people in the industry, and throughout the process I knew that the first 12 months is the hardest for anybody that starts. It doesn't matter what level you're at, or the first 12 months is going to be the hardest. But it's about just getting through it and consistently doing it every day, and that's what we talk about regularly, I suppose, is just do it. Just get out there
Nike.
and do it.
Yep. Yeah. Perfect. Why did you join Jellis Craig?
Yeah, well, obviously when I bought, I was attending so many opens at so many different agents and agencies, and seeing the way that people conducted opens and all these other, prospective ideas on it. But fortunately, a family friend of mine is Alistair Craig, and I thought, it makes sense. I'll give him a call. I knew that there was this office in Mentone, and there was the Brighton office as well. And I said, Al, I really want to do it. I really want to give this a go and give it my all. Can you help me? And I was fortunate that he made a call to you, and I was about to phone you at lunchtime, and you beat me to it for that phone call, and I was like, let's catch up and have a chat, and it just went really well, and I felt from all the directors and partners here that this was where I was meant to go. Yeah.
I mean, it was a nice call for Alistair Craig to ring me, hard man to say no to, and I just naturally said, always happy to meet, because I am, and testament to you, you impressed everyone in the room as a young man, and for us, it's no small ask to invest your time and energy into someone, because you do that wanting the same back. Is what we talk about here, and you've done that. And we do say, without saying egotistical, it's a privilege to be here. For me as well. I treat it as a privilege to be here, and I want what anyone wants, which is just to be 1% better every day, right? So, and hopefully we're all on that same journey, and you're contributing to that. Even though you're one of the newest people, that bottom-up approach is really important. We want to see all our young people contributing, and you're doing that, which is fantastic. So
that was the main thing that Alistair told me, and I'll never forget it. He just said, "If I've helped you out here, and the only thing I expect back is every single day be a sponge. Just keep learning and learning and learning and learning." Mm-hmm. So
and you are. So you're the best sponge going around, mate. You're a big sponge. Okay. So the next question here, which that you wanted to talk about, was, what do you think sets Jellis Craig apart from other agencies? Yeah,
it's so interesting now, because obviously being here for 6 months now, everything becomes so much clearer in terms of what you see. And it starts with opens, really. The small things like music, the candles, the way that we put out our brochures and all these things. Like, it's just crazy. Now, when you go to any other open, that's the first thing I look at is, what are these people doing? Like, it's so different to us.
Yeah, it's a bit like going to a restaurant, right? It's like the service levels, right? And that's what we are.
Yeah.
And people maybe forget about the little 1%ers sometimes.
They are. And as we said in the last couple of questions, is how important opens are. Not only for our side of where the future business may lie, but showing future vendors as well what their home will present like in the same light. So. And
how are you finding the environment from a Jellis Craig perspective?
Yeah, it's awesome. It is really cool. The interconnected network stuff, where we can look through the database at where people are hanging out at opens, it kind of gives us a picture of what they're really doing and where to invest the time in with the buyers and things like that. So.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Fantastic. The next question is about, we're obviously ramping up. I think you had 7 opens on Saturday. I rang you at the end of the day. I said, "Are you still alive? You're breathing? You're okay?" You might have met in excess of 100 people.
Definitely.
And lots of work yesterday. You had a massive day yesterday working through that, and well done. And you'll do it again today.
That's it.
So we'll get this podcast done and off you go for another 8 to 10 hour day. But as part of that, how are you finding both during the process and post the process in terms of your own relationship development?
Yeah, it's really important. And I think, as you said, I'm quite fortunate in a sense that people do feel that genuineness about me at an open initially. So I do find it a little bit easier to build a connection quite quickly with people. I feel like that's one of my strengths, is people sense that I do genuinely want to help. So it's just, maintaining that throughout, is constant calls, checking in. Are you looking at other options? Is there anything we can help you with at the moment? And for the post aspect is, I call them the first month straight after what they've purchased. And they've moved in, the furniture's in, and just making sure everything went smoothly. There was one recently at 5 Christine Court, and she made a note of it in a recent review for me, which was really lovely. That,
brilliant.
I got the stylist to give the removalist phone number because they were moving interstate. And it was just helping her, like, there you go, there's an option. She just went with them. It was easier to do that. She knew them. And it was a very smooth process, something less for her to have to worry about.
Yeah, well done, mate. I didn't actually know you did that. So well done. That's awesome. Congratulations. I should pay more attention. So I've got 2 more questions, if that's okay.
Of course.
The next one talks about, I want to know more about your own development, what you envisage for yourself. The next 12 to 24 months. Exciting time. Yeah, 6 months gone quick. The next 12 months is going to go even quicker, right? What do you envisage for yourself over the next 12 months?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, because obviously I don't want to rush anything in this business. I think that I'm so fortunate, as I said, to be in a team with Amy and getting to get that exposure around her listings as well. But obviously the end goal is to be a freestanding agent and being able to list and sell property by myself and help people. So it's
coming, mate. It's coming.
I feel it.
Yeah,
I do feel it.
Yeah.
I feel like I did my first deal. I pretty much was by myself. Amy was there, of course, to support me through it. But selling 1 Coolabah Street in Mentone, totally off market, and just reaching out to that vendor and finding out why they didn't sell at the end of last year and how we can help them. What was the reason for wanting to sell, and finding out that motivation, and then being able to pair it with a buyer off of a similar property in a similar location. was pretty cool that I was like, 6 months in, start to finish, completed that whole transaction, and
joined
both
the dots.
parties were super stoked. So.
Yeah. And so was I. So
Yeah.
I was stoked for you. And you did it. I mean, you and I worked through a transaction on Saturday night, a really tricky one.
Yeah.
We were going backwards and forwards till about 9:30 on Saturday night, and you managed it really well. You got through it.
I was very lucky to have your help there with what the dialogue is, and if they come back at this, what do we say? So that's where we're very fortunate in this business.
Yeah, and credit to you, mate. You followed it probably better than I could, so well done. What do you see in the market generally over the course, just to finish up? But what are you seeing?
It's so interesting. We've got properties that are flying, like 6 Ivy Street, that, went 140,000 above reserve. We've got things that aren't going so well in certain lights. So we are obviously seeing, because interest rates are dropping, that there's a lot more buyer activity now, and vendors are wanting to get ready to do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's a little bit interesting, I'm finding at the moment in the market, especially the last 3 weeks. With where rate cuts are going and which way it's heading. But I do think long term now, the bottom of the market's been and gone. And if I was a buyer in the marketplace, I'd be wanting to buy
Snap
sooner
up
rather than later.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And you're probably one of the fortunate people that you're that close to the market now because of your exposure.
Yeah.
You and Amy have got an incredible pipeline of work coming, so you're going to be busy over the course of the next
pretty
8
cool.
weeks. So
Yeah.
good luck. And your development's only going to flourish between now and Christmas. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to get someone who's newer and more dynamic within our business and growing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how the year finishes out for you, mate. So thank you.
Thanks, Byron.